Evening. It is Thursday night. A little different evening for me to do. I know a lot of people are starting school back and uh, parks are starting to change schedules and stuff, but we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. I can't wait to share with you. So I don't know about you. Let's roll. So happy Thursday. Kind of in the middle of a bunch of trips, starting to get caught up finally after 3.5 weeks on the road, which was definitely crazy. But happy to be able to be home, starting to feel like I'm somewhere caught up. Just finished my Dorney video, editing it. So it's going to get uploaded, and my patrons and YouTube members should get a link hopefully tonight to that, assuming I don't run into any background music copyright issues. So Dorney is done. Still have coming up Knobles, um, Kennywood, Camden Park, working on my Eldridge Park video because I want to do a really nice job for that one. Uh, Eldridge Park treated us like royalty when we went, and I mean, I've got the book. I'm wanting to do something nice, so I am taking my time on that one. It was the second place we stopped on the trip, but it was great. So I am taking a little extra time on that one. Uh, so those are all in process and coming up soon. Working on a couple other things as well with different people. So excited about that. Craig, sorry, not sorry. No, don't be sorry. It just taken me my timing for it. The 3.5 weeks was great. That was fine. Literally the day after I got home, I pulled into home Sunday evening, and I woke up Monday not feeling good and COVID. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So the timing on the COVID wiped out a week of work, which I needed at that point. But oh well. But like I said, lots of videos coming. Working on a couple things. I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. It was something I realized I had not touched on in my confessions and the background behind the scenes stuff. So like, hey, let's get that one. So I'm looking for ideas like that constantly. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. Actually even went a little not safe for magic with it. So um when I was in Coney, did I want to wear an orange traffic cone on my head? I can safely say no. Nope. Hang on just a second. Yes, son?
I was just looking for some of the little addresses and stuff from General Counsel.
Over on the little table.
Thank you.
Wife came in. Hey, got to take care of that. Happy wife, happy life. I don't follow that anywhere near as much as I should. So, but so like I said, excited. Trying to work on a couple things with Silver Dollar City to get a couple different behind the scenes videos done there. So we will see how those turn out. I'm in the process of making contacts and connections, but I've got opportunities. I've been told I have open doors for a couple of these things. So it's just trying to make them happen. So excited for that. So some neat stuff coming up. I got a couple packages here. I did want to talk a little bit about some of the theme park news that I tend to get asked about. One, Holiday World's announcement was actually for a real ride. I know there's some people that, with all of the attractions and everything getting announced, Holiday World made this announcement that people thought might have actually been a joke. And okay, let me see if I can find the announcement here. But it was one of those things that it sounded hilarious at the time, and I'm not seeing the announcement now. Let's see here. I want to make sure I get the details on this right. Okay, so it's called Good Gravy. What a name. It's a family roller coaster. It's a family Vekoma boomerang. Judy's popping it up there. So, yes, Good Gravy. And Craig, I wanted to at least see the gravy coaster. And I'm like, what a the way they announced it almost sounded like a joke, except it's going into their Thanksgiving section. It's actually a legit roller coaster. So it honestly, it looks like it's going to be a really fun little ride. Um, Trying to see if I can find a picture of it here, and I'm not seeing it now. But it's basically it's going to be a coaster that pulls you up backwards up a spike. You go down through a couple turns, up a little spike, and then you come backwards. No loops, no inversions. Should be a lot of fun. Crazy Mike, do you ride in a gravy boat? The cars are actually going to be themed to look a little bit like a gravy boat. Yes. So, do I think Space 220 will go on the DDP Disney Dining Plan? Um, Actually, most of the big restaurants do. If they're going to do it like they have in the past, yes, Space 220 should be on the Disney Dining Plan. Um, I don't know why it wouldn't. So, but yeah, Tom, not many here have heard of Holiday World, uh, which is kind of sad. Holiday World argues that it was actually the very first theme park. It's in Santa Claus, Indiana. It was originally Santa Claus Land, and then they expanded and they put in a Halloween section and a Fourth of July section and a Thanksgiving section. And it's a neat little park. It's got a couple of the best wood roller coasters around. It's just a fun park. I was really disappointed I didn't get to do it on this trip, but at the same time, if we had worked out a way to go to Holiday World, it would have been on the Sunday, which meant I would have been driving home with COVID, and that would have not been a fun thing. So, and as it was, the budget didn't allow for it anyways. But yeah, it looks like it'd be neat. Uh, Ryan Idios, there are quite a few ones like that in the EU. So yeah, it's the first family Vekoma boomerang in the US. So it looks like a neat little park. Uh, let's see, Six Flags St. Louis finally got their track complete on their new coaster that's supposed to be open this year. So as the summer ends, they're finally finishing up. Wow, way behind. Zambezi Zinger opened up last about a month ago. I got to try and get up there and ride it. I haven't had a chance yet. So, um, Craig, some people were talking to last week. You never heard of Knobles or Knots? Knobles doesn't surprise me. Knobles is a kind of a coaster enthusiast favorite, but outside of that area or the coaster circles, a lot of people don't. Uh, Knots, I'm surprised at. Knots is very well known. Nothing else, I should know what a boysenberry is. That's weird. What's next? A turkey leg tripod for PhotoPass. Except Disney doesn't have a Thanksgiving section. So now you could do it over at Holiday World to have a turkey leg photo op. That would be funny. I'd like that. I'm trying to think of what other big announcements there were. Cedar Point finally announced theirs that I still don't exactly know how this is going to work with their capacity. That it's basically launching up a back spike and then going forward and up and over and and they're changing the layout a little bit. It's still basically Top Thrill Dragster, but it's working different, and it's being done by Zamperla that I don't know that they've ever done a major launch coaster. So I'm kind of, and then Cedar Point desperately needs high capacity coasters, and the way this looks, it doesn't look like it's high capacity. I am not sold on what's happening with it. Yeah, we will. I'm just kind of out. Jacob mentions Dorney's getting a new coaster. Finally, overdue. They're getting a dive machine with a unique layout. Very different looking one, but it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I was impressed with that. I was kind of like, oh, I almost wish it was open this year, but oh well. So, coaster fans, NBC Singer was a strange ride, not a bad ride, but a weird addition. That's kind of what I've heard. Is it? It's like, okay, it's fun, it's short, it's interesting, it's neat, but yeah, I've heard people say that ZBZ is not something they would travel for, but they're happy it's there. It's kind of weird. I want to get back up to it and get a ride, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed. I'm at 376 coasters now, so kind of get up there, but so kind of redundant. A miniature prowler. Okay, so that's not a bad thing in my book because I like Prowler. So hey, more wood coasters like Prowler. That's a good thing. I could do that. So um, but yeah, some neat stuff coming for next year. Worlds of Fun needs to get the crowd under control before I go back. Wonder. Okay, it sounds like there's a story there, because when I was there, uh, no issues with the crowd, and it was a busy day. So, be kind of curious um, what the story is on that one, Cobra. So, fill me in a little bit. Um, so I did have. Okay, so throw your questions at me. I'm kind of open on what I've got for you because a lot of what I would talk about, um, my videos and the travels and stuff are kind of all coming up. We are going to Dragon Con in Atlanta. We're leaving in a week and going to be down there for the whole thing. So excited about that. The biggest Comic Con I've been to was the one in Kansas City. So I'm excited. There's a number of stuff going on that we're looking forward to. So excited to be down there in Atlanta. We are talking about a couple other possibilities too. Where we're going to be staying is actually apparently near some of the Stranger Things filming locations. So I might do a run by. I actually have not really watched Stranger Things, but I know a lot of people have. So it should be fun to be able to catch that and uh, have some fun filming those. So if you're going to be in the Atlanta area this next weekend, look me up. Like I said, we'll be at Dragon Con. Going to have a good time. It's going to be fun. Going to be walking around going, wow, look at all that stuff I can't afford. But we should have a lot of fun with it. It's going to be me, both of my kids, and then you may remember seeing John, who was at Disney with us last year ago March. So excited about that. Let's see here. Michael, interview tomorrow for stage manager for photo. Stage manager. That's a different title. You got to fill me in on what that is. Because I know PhotoPass got absorbed into entertainment a little while ago. And I know the different managers, but I don't know what a stage manager would be for PhotoPass. For entertainment, I absolutely know. But that's interesting. Good luck with the interview, Michael. But yeah, fill me in with details on the side. Don't drop them in the chat just because I don't know how much of those details Disney wants out. But drop me an email. I'd love to hear more about that. That's interesting. Cobra, parents are dropping their teens off, but a couple also. Oh, the good old babysitting clause. Now, Worlds of Fun does have a policy that they're supposed to have an adult with them if they're not over age 17. So, school's back in session, though. That should definitely help. Yeah, unfortunately, we're at an age where teens have always been a bit unruly if they're not supervised, and it's gotten worse. So, too bad. Let's see. Any chance you rode the coaster in Smokey and the Bandit 2 before it came crashing down? What coaster was it? Oh, I don't know. Let's see here. I'm not sure. I don't think I have been on it. Let me see. What coaster was it? Oh, they blew up. Oh, in Atlanta? No, nope. Lakewood Park. The only park I've been to in Atlanta is Six Flags Over Georgia. So I can't say I have been on a coaster that has been blown up like that. So, but that would be an interesting claim to fame. I've been on a bunch of coasters that aren't around anymore, but not that one. So, what is my favorite thing about Comic Cons? Ooh, let's see. I love seeing other people's cosplay. I love the panels and hearing the different celebrities. Uh, Goodness, it it's just fun being around people and stuff. Some of the stuff you see for sale is amazing. There's just so much. The panels, the cosplayers, the floor where you've got all sorts of stuff on display and for sale, and it's just a ton of fun. Now, Dragon Con also has a couple things that most cons don't. One, they actually have a pro wrestling event, which will be cheesy as all get out, and we'll probably go to that just for fun. They actually have a huge cosplay parade. It's not at a convention center, it's held at several hotels, and they do a parade right down the middle with all the cosplayers, which is really cool. And then they also have tracks that a lot of cons don't. For example, they actually have not a science fiction, but a real space science track with astronauts and stuff like that. So they've got some real reality based stuff, not just comics, which will be really neat. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's see. Michael, Hurricane Hillary wasn't as bad as most people thought. Okay, so here's the thing about hurricanes and tropical storms. If you are right on the coast where you have to worry about storm surge, they're bad. If you are right where the eye of the storm hits when it's at its strongest, it can be bad. But basically, they are windy, lots of rain. Uh, they're long, extended thunderstorms. That's what they are. And there are some that are extremely strong. We had a thunderstorm here when I was on the trip that blew trees down all over the place. Actually, knocked one of my neighbor's trees down, missed my mother's car by like 6 inches. So thunderstorms can be bad. Don't get me wrong, but a tropical storm and a category 1 hurricane, they're basically long, extended thunderstorms. Hunker down, be prepared to not have power for a couple days, maybe, but yeah, they're usually not that bad unless you are where the eye hits. Then it's bad. So, yeah. Yeah. And take that from a guy who got to live through 4 hurricanes in Florida, 2 of which rolled right over my head. So, let's see here. Does heat ever shut down rides, warp rails, or that's actually a good question. Um, so heat rides are designed to operate in heat. They can run in the heat. What's more of an issue is keeping your operators and your guests cool. And I'll use the train as an example. The rails are not going to, excuse me, they're not going to warp in the heat. Not at all. But what will happen, like with our train, the train at Silver Dollar City, because we stopped and we did a show during it on really hot days. At that point, the train's sitting there. There's no air moving. The passengers are getting super hot. You're trying to do a show in the heat. Nobody is happy. Nobody is comfortable. So instead of doing the typical 15, almost 15-minute long deal, you shorten it up to about 7 or 8 minutes and get it done and get them out so they're getting the breeze. And so that way nobody's suffering anymore. So you will see that. You will see at Disney, heat does affect the outdoor character meet and greets. They shorten them up. If they can move them inside, they do. But for example, the fur characters, instead of being out for 30 minutes at a time, they'll shorten it up to 20. And if it's a really hot day, it's 15 minutes. 15 minutes out, right back off stage. So you will see that. Yeah. So it affects more the staffing than it does the actual rides. Let's see here. Oh, I like this. Like Comic Cons, it makes me more comfortable enjoying the Nickelodeon shows I watch despite my age. Disney, adults without kids all the time. There's nothing wrong with being a child later on, as long as you don't act childish, if that makes sense. Once Silver Dollar said the heat kept making Transformers blow. Shut some down, but not for long. Wow, I actually have not heard that. Wonder when that was. I have not heard of the heat blowing wrestling. So, Amber and I still watching AEW. Yep. Shh. Yes, we are. A big Wembley Stadium event coming up Sunday night. That's another one I guess sit there and go, okay, we got to pay for it. How are we going to pay for it? I don't know how we're going to afford it. So, have I been to Universal Studios Orlando Park? So, Magic Guy, I am guessing that you are pretty new to the channel asking that. So, if here's an easy way to find out where I've been and what I've done. If you go to any video, there is actually a link there that will, it's called a scribble map. And you can actually pop on that and it will pull up a map. Then there's markers there, and I'm going to have to update it. But there's markers there that will show you all the parks I've been to. Additionally, for some of them, for a lot of them, there's videos. So on the channel page, if you go into the search button, this is easier on a computer than a phone, but there is a search option for the channel. Look up the park, Islands of Adventure or Universal, and you'll see all the videos from those parks. So yes, I have. And what was my favorite ride? The one I was on. I don't generally do favorites because that's very difficult for me. Like I said, when you've been on 375 coasters, it gets a little hard picking one. So, let's see. Julia, had a hurricane hit us almost a year ago. Shocking us, we don't get the much. Still repairing the damage. See, my problem is I've got a driveway I got to fix, and I just haven't done it. So I get that. It's don't get me wrong, they can cause damage. They can rip roofs off, especially if they're older roofs. Trees and stuff can come down, so it can do stuff. But if you are remotely smart about the storm, you won't have a problem. Again, as long as you're not living near the coast, you're not living in a mobile home or something, then it's like, okay, get out of town. But too bad the robbers on the train can't use super soakers. That would be neat, actually. Brian, bow down to the leader of the peanut gallery. Those of you who watched Emma's live stream yesterday will understand that with the Talking Mickey project. If you haven't seen it, you need to go check her channel out. You really do. So, Renage, mean rides or machines which have max temperatures? Yes, but roller coasters and stuff are designed to operate in temperatures up to like 150 or hotter. It's steel. 100 degrees is not going to warp steel when it takes, how many hundreds? Let's see. What temperature does steel melt at? So steel melts at 2,500 degrees. 100 degrees is not going to face it. So, let's see here. Okay. So, Michael sending me some. Okay. So, Michael, thanks for the information. Send it to me email. sirwillow@gmail. That'll be better. I can talk to you more about that. Let's see. Michael, been mean to ask, do I ever play the old Roller Coaster Tycoon games? So here's my problem with games. I don't have much time to game. I am so busy that there just isn't time to do it. So I don't even have the old RCT games installed on my computer at the moment. Maybe someday I'll reinstall them if I ever have time, but I've got a couple other games I play on a more consistent basis right now, and it just hasn't happened. So, yeah, I loved them at the time. RCT3 was my favorite game. Played it a ton, but I don't even have any of my save files or anything anymore. Let's see here. Coaster fans talking about Carowinds. Disneyland or Magic Kingdom? Oh, that's okay. That is an easy question. Disneyland has twice as much in it as Magic Kingdom does, and it's Walt's Park. That's no contest. Not even close. So, Cobra, we're currently at 2,400 degrees in Missouri. It has felt like it. Oh my goodness. So, too busy to play bingo. So when I am home, my job over at the escape room, I'm typically working right now 35 to 40 hours a week. I then spend another 15 to 20 hours working on videos and stuff like that. Let's see. So now we're up to what, a 50 to 60-hour work week. Oh, and then I also have the churches I speak at and travel around and do that. I don't have a whole lot of free time right now. I miss it. I miss it. Okay, so let's see. I got a couple packages here. Okay, this is actually kind of funny. So Craig shipped those. I hope these will help you be safer than a knife on future streams. I like my pocket knife. Speaking of which, I actually forgot to get it out for this one. But safety scissors. Not just safety scissors, they're kid-friendly craft scissors. Thank you. I will hand those on to Amber. So let's see here. Excited to one day go to Disneyland. I love Disneyland. Yeah, Disneyland itself is just okay. You've seen my videos. I've done toss-ups where, here's why Disneyland is better than Walt Disney World. Here's why Disney World is better than Disneyland. Honestly, if I had to pick one for a week, I'd probably pick Disneyland. I like Disneyland. I like how close it is to it, and walking to the park and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just, I like Disneyland. I know I'm almost on the verge of picking a favorite there. Okay. So this is also from Craig. I'm trying to. How many different messages can you come up with here? Cognitive memory sharpens your mind. Clinically shown to improve memory and recall. I forget why I would want to take this. I'll have to think about that. Thank you, Craig. Honest truth. One of the things I have noticed with the first bout I had with COVID, haven't seen so much this one, but there were. It knows that. So this is the COVID thing, where you know what you want to say and it just isn't coming out, and you can't think of the word, and it's been getting better. But now with this last bit of COVID, a little bit. But no, I actually will take that. Thank you. So, let's see. Used to be a Florida ride or die. After going to Disneyland 2019 and converted to Waltz. Now, there is something to be said about being in the bubble in Florida, where you can just stay on property and not have to worry about anything. But yeah. Craig, well, you did say you shouldn't be playing with your knife and needed a new brain. Are you ready for Pumpkins in the City? Yes, very much so. And already got a date that we're going to be going. So that will be exciting. Sir Willow, having favorites. There are a couple things that I will admit I like a little better. So, miss your Twitch streams. I would love to do the Twitch streams again. I just literally, if I have any time to game, it's starting at like 9:00 at night, and my wife is sleeping, and so me sitting here talking while I was gaming would not. It'd be bad mojo. I would be a dead boy. So. Cobra, what is Pumpkins in the City? Okay, so Silver Dollar City does not do Halloween. What they do during September and October is they have a craft festival. So they have got all sorts of crafts booths set up. And then in the evening, they've got illuminated jack-o'-lantern pumpkins all over the park. You've got, they call it the Pumpkin Festival. They've got all sorts of different fall foods, typically a DJ with some fun music. Some neat lit up stuff. It's one of the few times the park is open at night, and it's gorgeous. They do some really neat stuff. So it's not Halloween, it's harvest and pumpkins. But It's their version of it, and it's really neat. It's not quite as good as Disney's, but I will take Pumpkins in the City over all the Halloween haunts and horror fests any day. So, uh, am I a fan of pumpkin chunking? I have actually seen pumpkin chunking, not in person. I've seen it on video, and it looks pretty funny. So. Craig, well, grant Disneyland versus MK, but Walt Disney World has Figment, more dining options, and the Star Cruise. Of course, it has more dining options. It's got 4 parks. Um, so there is more at Walt Disney World, but yeah, like I say, and you can go either way. I can see why people would like either one better, but got to do both. Got to do both. So, Julia, I found COVID affected my sensory issues a lot. Earplugs in large crowds. The biggest thing I have found COVID has done to me is my breathing. I have a little bit of breathing issues, anyways, because of something called GERD. Basically, it's acid reflux that then sits right here and puts pressure on my lungs and makes it hard for me to breathe. And it had been getting amazingly better. For the most part on this last trip, it really didn't bother me much. The biggest thing that bothered me was just plain being tired and getting old, which sucks. But this last bout of COVID, I'm back to struggling with it again. It's really frustrating. Really frustrating. So, one last thing here from Craig. This will be most of the mail. And then I do have a couple questions people have thrown my way, which I wanted to make sure I addressed. See if I can get this here. Because there's... Okay. So there's a couple brochures here that he has picked up along the way. There is the Newport Aquarium. Let's see. Entertainment Junction, Summer Fun Guide, Creation Museum. And okay, that's the one tied into the Ark, which there's your Ark encounter, which I actually do have videos on those. And then the Louisville Zoo. I haven't been to that one yet. So thank you, Craig. And let's see. Hip pouch after dark. That'd be cool. There's a poster here too. I don't remember where I got the poster set. But I do have the poster from the National Air Force Museum too. Okay, that's great. I love that. All right. And then a Lego Star Cruiser. That's very cool. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. Hope it clears up for you soon. Me too. Me too. Especially with Dragon Con coming up. I'm going to be doing lots of walking. I don't need to be doing lots of wheezing. So, Walt Disney World has Fantasmic, even though Disneyland's Fantasmic will return someday. Disneyland's Fantasmic, I thought they announced a return date. Spring of 24. So it will be back next spring. And don't know what they're going to do about the dragon yet. But it's coming back. I have not seen the new version at Walt Disney World. I'm looking forward to seeing that in February. So that should be a lot of fun. Let's see. Haven't had a chance to hang out with me at a theme park. You really are missing out. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it. I don't know. I honestly sometimes I go, am I really that fun and entertaining? But I appreciate that people think so. Love the sticker. Beautiful PTC carousel. It's actually solar powered. PTC. One of the neat things with this trip was we got on more classic carousels. That we kind of joked around that the tour was the Whip It tour because the goal was to hit all the whip rides in the country, but we ended up on so many carousels and just some beautiful ones. It almost kind of became the secondary from it. So stickers from Allie the Piper. Oh, that's awesome. Sells a 3D. Okay, so if you do not know who Allie the Piper is, look her up. She's a bagpipe player, but that doesn't remotely do her justice. So you need to look up Allie the Piper. She does some great stuff. A lot of fun. So I enjoy her stuff, and Craig got to go see her in concert, and that would have been amazing. So excited for the new Fire in the Hole at Silver Dollar. No, not at all. Not one bit. I'm guessing, Jacob, you didn't see my video about it or the behind the scenes, or I think that is the perfect fit for Silver Dollar City. Really do. Absolutely do. Did they find the cause of the fire? You mean at Silver Dollar City? It was the pork rind thing that boiled over or caught fire. So that's what got it. It's a riot. Great way. Oh, and end up leaving lots of merch. Maybe it depends upon how much money I had at the time. Most of the time, I don't get to leave with it that much. Yeah. Now wait a minute. New Walt Disney World Fantasmics officially your favorite nighttime show. You got to see the new one? I didn't know that. Yeah, but I can't wait to see it. I'm looking forward to it. So. Wish you could have met me at Kings Island. Life happened. Yeah, I know. Life sometimes stinks. I was hoping to meet up with you. Skipper Megan was going to try to make it. She didn't make it. Oh well. And as it was, you'll see when I post the video, it was mob packed. It was a Saturday, and then it was hot, and so I think we bailed at three or four, and we were done. I was going to try to get back because we were staying at a hotel right just down the road, and really wanted to get back up, and just come about 7:30 or so, and the park closing at 9, or maybe by 8:30. I was just like, nope, just I can't do it. Can't do it. So, California's Great America was your favorite Cedar Fair park? Really? Okay. Have you been to Cedar Point? Have you been to Knott's Berry Farm? You mentioned Worlds of Fun, but California Great America over Worlds of Fun? I grew up at that park, and it's a shadow of what it was. You need to get to Knott's and Cedar Point. Let's see. Am I still hearing the boom boom from the beach? Oh my goodness. I'll bet Craig is. That guy was loud. So I did actually have I had somebody post a question to me on one of the videos and basically asked, why do you like roller coasters? Let's see his actual comment. Let's see if I can get the whole thing here. Honest, sincere question. Why do you enjoy roller coasters? To me, they are literally a form of torture. Yes, I've done them. Did all of them in Disney World because my niece wanted to do them. And no one else in the group would ride with her. And no, I didn't enjoy them more after enduring all of these. Why do you enjoy them? Do I enjoy being terrorized? I don't get terrorized. I'm not afraid of anything. Death wish? Nope. Enjoy being violently bashed around. Okay, so when I see people say you're just tossed and bashed around in a coaster, I'm like, you rode with your eyes closed, didn't you? Don't ride with your eyes closed if you're afraid of a coaster. If I want to make a coaster more thrilling, I will close my eyes because you can't see what's happening and then you get tossed around. Keep your eyes open. Then you can see the track, you see what's going, you can anticipate and move with it. You close your eyes, you're just a ragdoll. I don't understand why people close their eyes. So, no, roller coasters don't scare me at all. There's nothing about them that scares me. I actually drive people nuts, and Megan will vouch for me on this because she saw me do it on this trip. That when we're on a coaster lift hill, we're going up. I'm going, oh, cool! Look at all the sights around here. Check out that over there. So I'm not afraid of the heights, especially if I'm sitting in a secure coaster car. I know it's not going to break or roll off the tracks or anything. So I have no worries about danger. I have no worries about safety because I know how they make them. It's an adrenaline rush. I'm safe and secure in this thing, and I'm going to go swooping along in the open air. Take your car. Do you drive would you ride in a convertible at 60 miles an hour? What's different about a convertible and a roller coaster other than one is doing this on a fixed track and the other one could actually have a collision and kill you? It's scarier in a car. um, so no, I love because do get an adrenaline rush. I mean, when you're dropping it, from nothing, and you drop 100 feet, 200 feet. Yes, there is definitely an adrenaline rush that comes with it. I enjoy the adrenaline rush. I love seeing what's going to happen. Um, yeah, they're fun for me. There's nothing scary. I do understand why some people are scared of them, but um, they don't scare me. Now there are some where the track is not smooth and then you get banged around. I don't like that. I'm not on it for a torture device. I'm on it to have fun. But yeah. Um, but no, if you're scared of them, especially, I mean, Disney's, if you're afraid of Disney's roller coasters, there's this is not meant as an insult or an offense, um, but there may be something else going on because, like Big Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain, yeah, it's a little dark to toss you around, uh, but most of Disney's coasters are really tame. Seven Dwarf Mine Train, if you're getting scared and you feel like you're getting thrown around on that, okay, you're definitely riding with your eyes closed. But I wonder if there's something else that's a deeper root that's causing the terror on that, because there's nothing scary about those. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question. Uh, the last time I was scared on a coaster, I was 8 years old. and and then I realized at that point I was more scared of standing in a strange place by myself waiting for everybody else on the roller coaster than I was of the roller coaster itself. And I haven't had a problem since. So I haven't had anything that's scared me like that. So um they didn't offer free water at Canada's Wonderland. That's weird. In the States, at least, they have to. I can't imagine why Canada's Wonderland wouldn't. Really strange. Make sure not to tell them about the Incredicoaster. uh, so, Judy, be an active writer. Yes. Makes a huge difference on a coaster. Um, I've actually yelled at people on a coaster to tell people, open your eyes. So, I've read articles talking about how safe roller coasters are once. Always for people who scared to coaster that article. You are far safer on a coaster. Okay, think about this. Uh, Silver Dollar City's roller coasters will give hundreds of thousands of rides. I believe they'll put on 2 million riders, depending upon the ride, 2 to 3 million riders a year without an incident. How many traffic accidents are there on the way to the park? You are safer on a roller coaster than you are in a car, far and away, far and away. So Megan, possessed at Dorney was closest to torture you felt in a while. Okay, I just edited this. Wait till this. Now, possessed wasn't rough or anything. She just didn't quite know what to expect, and it was like, possessed was fun. I hate the name, but I did definitely like the ride. So, um, okay, and this is true. Ninja at Six Flags. Okay, Six Flags St. Louis and Six Flags Georgia both have a ride they call Ninja, made by Vekoma. They're horrible, terrible, among the worst rides out there. Yeah, they will bang the crud out of you. So, yeah, that's not because roller coasters are scary. That's because they're pieces of junk. So, Greg, coasters are less comfortable if you don't like drops. Okay, I understand heights, drops. There are people that the sensations don't do well with their stomach. Okay, understand that. That that makes sense. But yeah, um, let's see. So I mean, there are times like so I don't bash people for not liking them, but when their fear so overwhelms them that something like Big Thunder is terrifying. Big Thunder's a kiddie ride. Have you ever heard of the dog fart coaster, Bonbon Land? Yes, I have. Um, Bonbon Land has some very unique, interesting names of rides. Wish I could do that. So, don't like the restraints of the quick dip on Magic Kingdom Space Mountain. Okay, Disneyland Space Mountain is a world of difference between Magic Kingdoms. Magic Kingdoms, um, Magic Kingdom Space Mountain is basically similar to the Matterhorn at Disneyland, and it's sharp, hard turns. So the track isn't the best, but still not that bad. Only roller coaster I've been scared on as a kid was X2 Magic Mountain. I can see that one. So if we could use roller coasters as an actual mode of complaining, that would be fun. So let's see. Was scared of roller coasters until I rode Slinky Dog. Yep, and Slinky Dog's a fun little coaster. So Ninja George is now known as Blue Hawk and has vest restraints. It's still junk. The vest restraints will help, absolutely, but it's a Vekoma. 90% of what Vekoma builds, Vekoma built the water portion of Rhino Rally that never worked quite right. Vekoma builds the boomerangs of all forms. Vekoma builds what's called a suspended looping coaster. If it's like 2 across seating, it's probably a Vekoma, and we call them hanging bangs for a reason. Yep. Were they using the holding brake on the rear spike? Yes. Yeah, they did. I had to think about it. I had to think about that. Let's see. Magic Kingdom Space Mountain's long overdue for overhaul. It actually, I would say, it's due to do what they did at Disneyland's, rip it out and put a new one in. Yeah, it's aging. It was actually built before Disneyland's, and then they replaced Disneyland. So, but more like 60%. Vekoma stepped up their game. There are some newer rides that they have made that are better, but there's still enough bad stuff. So, don't do drops or flips. Now, see, that would eliminate, if being upside down bothers you. Yeah, that's going to eliminate a lot of coasters. And drops, that's going to eliminate most coasters. So, Space Mountain Magic Kingdom is like being in a demo derby. It's not that bad. I enjoy Space Mountain and Magic Kingdom. Is it a little rough? Yes. Okay, but here's my litmus test. Amber does not like rough coasters. Amber doesn't like anything that bangs and beats her up. And she likes Space Mountain at Magic Kingdom. That one doesn't bother her. And if you watch the videos, you'll see her at times going on rides I like. So yeah, Space Mountain Magic Kingdom doesn't bother her. Doesn't mean that it can't be improved. But yeah, that one doesn't phase her. Amber's much more limited on the coaster she rides than I am. I will ride almost anything. I'll ride anything at least once. And then for me to not ride it again, it's got to really be bad. So, used to be scared of loops. Had a terrible ride on Grease Lightning at Kentucky Kingdom. Grease Lightning at Kentucky Kingdom was a very intense launch. So if it gave you a bad headache, okay. So my question at first was, did you have your head forward and then get it slammed back on the launch? I've seen that happen a lot. And then because Schwarzkopf builds very circular loops, the positive G's can be very intense. So Matterhorn and Disneyland's chiropractor's best friend. Yep. Yeah, Matterhorn. But how do you rip it out and retract it? Matterhorn's going to be something that they've got to do something with it at some point, but I don't know what they're going to be able to do. You can't cover that whole thing, but it's getting to a point where they may need to tear down the mountain and put a new one. That's a project. Um, Best advice to people who want to get over the coaster fear is just do it. That works a lot of times. So this person who wrote, they rode every coaster at Magic Kingdom and they still didn't like it. They still felt terrorized. I don't know what else to say to that other than why are you afraid? What are you afraid of? What is terrorizing you so much on those? And then they said they were getting tossed around, so they got to be riding with their eyes closed. You'll actually see a video when I release the Dorney. There's a guy on the kiddie coaster who's more scared than the kid is, and we're laughing and going, "Come on, dude! It's a kiddie coaster." Um, Eyes open, but what are you afraid of? What is causing you to feel so much terror? And then deal with that. If it's a physical thing, I can't do drops. Don't like the drop. Don't like the sensation. Okay, makes sense. Get that. But that's not a terror. That's a physical feeling that you don't like. So, what is my favorite roller coaster company? He's on the favorites list here. Whatever one built the ride I'm on. um, I like Intimate. I like B&M. I like RMC. I like a lot of them. So, yep, whatever. Her Matterhorn sucks. At the same time, be crime to remove it for its historic significance. Like Fire in the Hole, rebuild it. The thing is, it's going to have to be dealt with at some point. Matterhorn is starting to decline to a point where it's going to hurt somebody. It's starting to get that bad. So, do not like Kong at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Kong, that is a Vekoma SLC. Rest my case on those. They're terrible. So, but no, Matterhorn, I would do kind of like Silver Dollar City's doing with Fire in the Hole. It's got to be in the inside's got to be interesting. It's probably time to tear it down and rebuild it as a new one. I know people are like, ugh, but plus it up, improve it. I think it'd be a whole lot better. So, I mean, it didn't bother me how rough it was, but I noticed it, and I could see why it would bother people. So, yeah, it's coming time that they're going to have to do something with it. So, yeah, and probably more than just a refurb. But, anyways, there's a real coaster nerd conversation for you. But yeah, the best things I can say is if you are terrified of coasters, look up the safety stuff, look up how safe it is, ride with your eyes open, start small, build up. And if you are having a major issue where something like Big Thunder is terrorizing you, there's something else. And that's because that's not a rational fear. So, if they rebuild, think they might add a camera for the basketball court. Oh, I don't know if they would put that back up there or not. So, let's see. Agree. Matterhorns are off. Still enjoy it. Just no more than once every 2 to 3 days. Yep. Yeah, like I said, I'll still ride it. If I'm in Disneyland, I'm riding Matterhorn. So, hopefully Busch Gardens will do the same for Kumba. Kumba's weird. Kumba has something that some people call the B&M rattle or B&M shuffle. And it's something that some B&M coasters develop. And I particularly notice those because my head is at the perfect angle that B&M's shoulder restraints. If it's got the rattle, I'm getting banged bad. Kumba gets me. I like Kumba, but it's been, let's see, 15 years that it's rattled me and got me with that. So Kumba, I'm not sure what the issue is, but it needs something. And the thought Hulk was rougher than Kumba. Last time I was at Islands of Adventure, I rode Hulk once and went, done. Had my ride. I had hoped that the rebuild would have fixed Hulk's vibration. It was just as bad, if not worse. That's a classic example of B&M Shuffle, and I can't ride it because it beats my head. There's a lot of people who love it because their heads are either lower in the restraint or the restraint's up and they're out, and they're good. But I can't do Hulk. Yeah, it's too bad. Coasters only like the Apollo moon launches. No, the Apollo moon launch was much, much more dangerous than roller coasters. Not a close comparison. Unfortunately, there's some that have lost their lives that way. Nothing wrong with Kumba. It's just 30 years old and needs some work soon. It like I said, I don't know what's wrong with Kumba. The one thing I don't think that Bush does, I don't think they keep their guide wheels, which is your inside ones. I don't think they keep those as tight on the track as they should, and I think that makes it shuffle and vibrate a little bit more. Uh, Kumba definitely has an issue though, because I'm far from alone with noticing that shuffle. And I honestly, I think that's probably more the way they tune the trains and get them lined up. But that's me. I'm not a mechanic. I don't know. I just have my suspicions. So, wow, we're actually hitting almost an hour. So, uh, fun discussion. I hope you all have had fun. And I'm going to start wrapping up here because my wife probably wants to go to bed for some stupid reason. Something about work in the morning. I don't know. Um, but thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for the fun month. I may or may not stream from Dragon Con. I will kind of see what happens. I will try to film some of it. I'll try to produce a video, at least just as something nerdy fun. So just something a little different. Like I said, I do have a couple. I've got 4 videos coming up from our trip. Dorney is done. I'm going to try and have Knobles ready here in the next couple days. And then actually probably, when can I get the Dorney one done? Or I mean the Knobles done, because I work tomorrow. I work Saturday. I'm preaching Sunday morning, and then if you are interested in my preaching stuff, Sunday nights on my Burning Bush channel, we are now doing a regular live stream, and I need to post up the next one. So you are welcome to join us for that. That's open for everybody. So that's Sunday evenings, 7:30 p.m. Central Time on the Burning Bush. And then, like I said, I gotta find time to get at least another video or 2 done before we go in this deal. Otherwise, I'm gonna be trying to live stream from DragonCon, which I might do anyways. So we'll see how it goes. But thank you guys for joining me, and hope we get to catch up with you again. Like I said, if I do a live stream from DragonCon, it'll be a quick pop-up. Maybe I'll try and do the parade. I'll see how that works because I don't know when that is. I gotta look that up. Thank you guys so much, and have a wonderful weekend. God bless. We will catch you all later. Have a great night.